Hi there. Welcome and welcome back to the Whole Bucket and Zebra Talks. 4 more to go. 3 more to go after today. So exciting. So today's topic is, what advice would you give to the undiagnosed and or newly diagnosed folks with a chronic condition? As it turns out, this my zebrahood, right? MCAS, possibly. Apparently that's still, I didn't know that it was up in the air, but it's still up in the air. There might be other things that are causing some of the stuff. Okay, anyway, and Ehlers-Danlos and autonomic dysfunction. That's my stuff. But you know what's exciting is that I have discovered people are using Zebra Talks for a lot of different things. There's whatever their unique zebrahood might be. And yeah, that's exciting. That's lovely. I hope it's doing some good. I know that it's done good for me. That's why I did it in the first place, right? Because I wanted to create something to get my head around my own situation. But if it can help other people at the same time, I thought, well, do it publicly and let's see if it's any help. A couple of different ways things can be help, right? Either, yeah, this is really cool, do this, or that means nothing to me, and then don't do that. So if you like what I'm doing, give it a try. Or if you're intrigued, give it a try. And if you're like, who needs that hippie talk? Then don't do it. Don't. I'm going to throw my glasses on so I can see the book and get right to it. Let's take a look at what we got going on for today. Here is the prompt. Your advice to the or newly diagnosed. I'm going to chop the bottom and the top off today. I'm going to do a little bit of a play on words too, because today's Zentangle is going to be a bit of words just went away from me. Did you hear that? Okay, so the play on words part is that I'm going to liken it to turn over a new leaf. So my Zentangle is going to be a pile of leaves. And I know turn over a new leaf is to do something new, right? But in this case, I'm going to apply it to my advice to the undiagnosed or the newly diagnosed. And my advice, I'm flipping the script here again, same as last week. In that, I already know what I'm going to write. So I'm going to write it down and then do the drawing. The thing that I would say is focus on one or two things at a time. If an emergent thing comes about, take care of it, and then return. This is the concept of the medical itinerary that I came to a couple of weeks ago, and it's something that I've been trying to do and don't do very well because it's not in writing and I forget. But it is sound advice. It is scientifically proven sort of advice. I'll tell you what I mean by that and why I'm laughing. Okay, so it isn't obviously not scientifically proven, right? Because nothing is perfect for everyone. Everybody's different. Everybody has things that will work for them and things that won't. And you got to figure that out for yourself. But what I mean by scientifically proven, in quotes, is that the scientific method says that you should only change one variable at a time. Otherwise, how do you know what is affecting what at any given time? Same is true for when you're trying to figure out how to take care of yourself and how to learn about what's going on with you. If you just scatter and skip and jump around and what have you, you never really get anywhere with anything. Or you run the risk of not getting anywhere with anything, I should say. You might, but you might not. What is a much better way to do things? I shake my head because goodness knows I didn't always, right? And I still don't always. Stay focused. What is a much better way to take care of yourself in an undiagnosed or a newly diagnosed situation is choose a thing or two things if you have to get started on. Now, if you are an undiagnosed person, hopefully you have found a provider that is going to help you investigate what the heck is going on with you. Or if you already have a provider and you're kind of out there on your own dealing with a thing, and you do it in your home by yourself for the most part, this all still applies. Pick a symptom or two, or a difficulty or two, and figure out how to deal with that thing. Does it need a medication? Does it need a therapy? Does it need a physical therapy or a mental therapy or both? Does it need blood testing? Does it need an x-ray? Does it need a stress test? Does it need an MMPI? Have you ever taken the MMPI? Minnesota Multiphasic Personality Inventory. Frickin' miserable test. Miserable. And weird. Anyway, figure out one thing at a time and then put things in place to try to take care of that thing. Get the medication, get the prescription filled, make sure that you don't let it run out and not refill it. Try it for an extended period of time. Don't be a snapshot judger, right? Don't, I'm supposed to be drawing. I'm going to draw. Don't try something for like a minute and then decide that's all wrong. Actually talk to a professional as best you can, or study yourself as best you can, whatever you got, right? Whatever means you have for figuring things out. Oh, and for goodness sakes, make sure that you're following trustworthy people and things if you're doing your research on your own on the internet. I can't believe some of the things and some of the people that I have heard people follow for their medical advice and for their dietary advice and for their lifestyle advice. And good grief. Make sure that you are learning from reputable places. It's just so stupid amounts of important to make sure that your information is accurate. And healthy and safe and stuff. I try not to judge. I really do. I try really hard. But sometimes the things I hear from people, where they get their advice from, I'm just like, I really wish you wouldn't do that. I really, really wish you would get your advice from that particular place, because that's... But you can't help... Oh, whatever. I'm going off on a tangent. Anyway, get your advice from really, really sound places and people. Do your research on your research. If you're out there on your own, do your research on your research. Okay. One or two things at a time. Give it a chance. Make a plan for how to take care of it. Get the support that you need. If you're like me and many other zebras out there, and you have stuff going on and you cannot get a doctor to listen to you for your life, and you know that a doctor is what you actually need, take breaks from trying to find a doctor who will listen when you need to, and just don't deal with them. And then when your health insists or your brain says, okay, I'm ready to try again, find a new person and try again. And make sure that you go in with a good attitude, because if you don't, you're going to set yourself up and that doctor or that provider up for failure. Go in with a good attitude. But it means that you're out there on your own if you are undiagnosed. And it means that if you're going to follow this piece of advice right here and focus on one or two things at a time, you really are out there on your own. And I'm sorry that that's happening to you. I'm with you and I hear you. And it happened to me and a lot of other people I know for years on end. You can, though, help yourself in a lot of ways. Remember to focus on a thing. And even though you're working with no diagnosis, so you don't know the underlying reason why a thing is happening, you can still learn to alleviate symptoms and run your life the best way that you can until things improve in the diagnosis department. Once you have a thing under control, right? Then you can pick a next thing. And it might not be perfectly under control. I don't know if there's such thing as perfectly under control. Things ebb and flow all the time, right? So don't think that you have to have something perfect before you can look at the next thing. But feel like you have some kind of understanding of that thing, and you have a strategy. And you have a strategy for when things go wrong, or when you fall off your strategy, you have a strategy for getting back on it. Okay? So once you feel like you kind of know what you're doing in that realm, pick a new one. Pick another one. the next thing that's bugging you. There's our first leaf. That's the first thing we worked on. Pick the next leaf to turn over. Now we're going to turn this leaf over. Work on this new thing the same way that you worked on the last thing. So you're going to look for help, you're going to do research, you're going to look for information, you're going to develop strategies, you're going to try those strategies for a decent amount of time. And if the strategy doesn't work, you're going to pull out a new one and try again for a decent amount of time before you turn over a new leaf. One of the things that can totally get in your way is if something emergent happens. So you're tootling along, you're getting things going, you're doing your research, you're testing out a strategy, it's kind of working, you're tweaking the strategy, right? And then all of a sudden, you break your leg. I hope you don't actually break your leg. Or you get COVID. And I hope you don't get COVID either. The point remains the same. Something has come along and put a wrench in your progress. You have to stop. Make some kind of note. Make some kind of mental note or actual note on paper or some kind of something that lets you understand where you are in the current thing you've been trying to work on. Because what you're going to do is drop it completely. You're going to note whatever way you need to. For me, it would take detailed, this is where I am with my provider, with my medicine, with my physical therapy, with my, whatever. It would take details for me to be able to pick it back up. Otherwise, I just look at my notes and go, what? I don't understand what I wrote. I often don't understand what I wrote. But, that's a thing. So, write down a physical note if you need a physical note, or just take note if mental notes work for you and you can remember stuff pretty easily. It's not part of my reality. And then drop it completely. Not medication if you're on medication. Don't drop your medication. But drop your progress is what I'm saying, right? Drop your progress and take care of the emergent thing. If you don't do that, your emergent thing will not get healed as well or as quickly as it could. And it doesn't even need to be a medical thing, right? It could be a life event. If you have a birth or a death or a sudden required move of some sort, or something obviously gets your attention, right? And it requires all of your effort. Other than medication, stop this. Take care of the thing. Go back to this. If it is a medical thing, that applies to this 3, 4, 5-fold. Take care of the medical thing. Once that medical thing is under control and it is no longer going to be sort of messing up your whole body system, then go back to your plans and where you were. And then it's time to turn over a new leaf. Get it? Turning over a new leaf. And then you can find that's a pretty wimpy leaf. I think I'll give it some more branches. This is more of a sprig of leaves. There we go. All right, so that is the general idea. I didn't read this out loud today. Those who are not yet diagnosed or newly diagnosed can be so overwhelmed. I think any of us at any time can be overwhelmed. Even if a new or under diagnosed person has a lot of friends giving them advice, even the advice can be too much. But if they ask for help, and you find a place where you can get good words in, just give them a little bit of a good word. My little bit of a good word is just focus on a thing. Just focus on a thing at a time. Give yourself time and space. Be nice to you. You be nice to you. All right, that's it for this time. I'm going to draw some more leaves while I think about, what we're going to do next time. Thanks for tuning in. 3 more zebra talks to go. Can't believe it. It's kind of awesome. All right, bye.